Alex, you're live.
Good afternoon and welcome to this online open day, our first one of 2024. My name is Dr. Anne Carter and I am the programme lead for the Applied Animal Sciences top up at Barony. So I'm going to talk you through today a little bit about the course, how the degree is structured and what you'll be learning through the course, what the modules encompass in terms of the third and fourth year, a bit about how you'll be learning and the campus itself, a little bit about careers, and then some of the support that is available, and obviously any questions you've got at the end of the talk as well, please feel free to ask those. So as I mentioned, I'm the programme lead here at Barony. I've been here for about 18 months now, having moved from an animal biology degree, and I am very much keen on research informed teaching in terms of what we're doing here at Barony. So I do a lot of work on canicross, so you can see me running my dog in harness there, and heat stroke in dogs and how temperature impacts dogs, and also been looking at this in cattle, and alongside that looking at gait in dogs as well. So that's a little bit of my research area, but it really does link into how I teach and what I teach, and that goes for the rest of the teaching team as well, that it's really important we're teaching our students the current knowledge and the current research that's out there to support going into industry, going into potentially further research careers as well. So we've got a core team of people who teach on the degree. As I said, my background is kind of behavioural welfare, biomechanics, and heat stress in dogs. So a bit of a mix across the boards there, but I started off with a zoology degree. Nicola, who is another zoologist, has come from an industry background, working in the RSPCA and in the vet labs. So she is very much our lab person and runs a lot of our lab practicals and our physiology based sessions. Mia, who again, another zoologist who did who had very much has a farming background, did her PhD in chickens. She is also very interested in statistics as well as production animals and nutrition. And Viola, who joined the team last year, who is an animal scientist who did her PhD in equine nutrition. So again, very keen on livestock and also the equine side of things. That means it gives us a broad perspective and overview in terms of the teaching team, opportunities that are available, and the expertise that we have amongst the teaching team as well, which is really valuable. As well as that, we have the teaching team up at Edinburgh, and we can utilise their skills and experiences, guest lectures, that sort of things, which I'll come on to support other areas within the teaching. So the degree itself is a top-up degree, so it's third and fourth year of the degree, and it is a full-time degree. So that means that you will be based on campus, usually around 3 days a week of taught content, and then self-directed study, which is really important and really valuable to then enhance that teaching. We do have some online content, but that is often where we're utilising things like guest lecturers who perhaps aren't able to come to Barony or aren't based on campus, or if we can share a guest lecture session with another campus. But I think it's really important now at this stage to be back on campus, getting that face-to-face experience, seminars, practical sessions, and also some field trips out and about. So where we don't have the capacity to teach things on campus, we take you off site, take you to other farms, we go to the vet labs, we go to abattoir, and gain you lots of different teaching experience that complements what you'll learn within your theory sessions and your lab practical sessions and your practical handling sessions. So lots of things integrated in there together. So in terms of what you'll learn, animal science is quite unique in what it offers. Unlike perhaps something like the vet nursing, where you're doing a particular degree to reach an end goal of a career, animal science really does open up a lot of opportunities. It's a huge subject, and it allows us to give you an overview of lots of different areas. So looking at animal systems, so our anatomy and physiology, how they interact with our production. Now that might be our production in terms of a product of meat, milk, offspring, or it might actually be production in terms of the performance of the animal. So if we're thinking about things like breeding performance, or if we're thinking about athletic performance, these are really important measures that we need to consider. And then thinking about our interaction with the environment, so how our animals interact with our wildlife, whether that's our production animals or our feather ecology, and then thinking about the health, welfare, behaviour of the animal. And that's across a whole range of different species. And so we'll use examples from all sorts of different areas, whether that is zoo animals, livestock, companion animals, because the research and the evidence base that we've got really does span all of those different areas. But that also does allow you to tailor your degree in your particular area of interest. So you might want to focus more on a livestock slant, more on a companion animal slant. You're able to do that with the assignments and your capacity to tailor your assignments into a particular area within a topic. And obviously your dissertation at the end of your degree in your final year will allow you to choose a topic area that links to an area of interest. So we've got students at the moment who are doing dissertations on pneumonia in calves, heat stress in dogs, in brachycephalic dogs, so short noses. We've got, I think I've got a range of topics coming up later on in the talk, but you'll see the diversity of different topics that you can be covering, areas you might want to look at. So in third year, you can see I'm not going to read out all of the different modules here, but you can see the different themes running through the degree programme. So you're going to start off with your physiology and your welfare and your nutrition as themes through your third year and your fourth year. In third year, you'll also be looking at a research methods module to support your dissertation and your development of your research skills in third year. And we also look at developing a career in animal science, which is understanding the wider context of your animal science degree and where you can go with it. And then in final year, we broaden this out, thinking about the current issues and situations with our global issues module, looking at climate change and how that interacts with our animals. And then you can choose whether you want to focus on nutrition or welfare in your final year as a particular pathway. And then, as I mentioned, your honours project, which allows you really to tailor the direction you want to go in. And yeah, just to give you a few examples of previous projects that we've had. So we've had students looking at alpacas and wool traits, genetic traits in inheritability in the wool, sheep and mothering abilities, owner perception of obesity in horses. So really a wide range of topic areas, and it really is a question of what are you interested in, what do you want to explore further, and then we try and match you up with a supervisor who has expertise in those particular areas to support your dissertations. So we're very lucky that we have not just really good facilities at Barony, so we've got the dairy at Barony and also just up the road at Crichton. We've got lots of industries locally that we can go to and visit, and they can talk us through what they're doing on site, how that links to the particular modules you'll be learning, so things like feed mills, but also looking at opportunities for careers and further study once you're finished. So places like the vet labs and the post-mortem rooms, the labs up at Edinburgh, which link more to epidemiology and nutrition, and also other farms around SRUC, where we can talk about things like genetics and climate change. And these are places that are doing current research projects. So again, we can think about how this links back to current knowledge and changing knowledge as we go through. Animal science is a really dynamic topic that very much moves forward very quickly. So we want to make sure that the knowledge you're gaining is of interest, but also current in the field today. We also often have trips abroad. These are extra opportunities for you to go to other countries and be involved in animal-based projects. So last year they went out with GAP Africa This year, I think they're going to Ecuador with Operation Wallachia, and that's opportunities open to both the HND students and to the degree students as well. And that changes year on year as to what opportunities are available. So what can you do with animal science? Well, it is one of those degrees that really does open up to lots of opportunities, and it doesn't pin you down or restrict you to one particular discipline, which is really valuable. It's going to give you a core science degree, so any job role or opportunity, or perhaps a graduate pathway that is looking for a science degree, this is a perfect route into that. But it also opens up opportunities within professions aligned to agriculture and veterinary science. So where we're looking at, for example, nutrition, genetics, welfare assessment, all of those aspects surrounding our agricultural and veterinary industries need animal scientists to support them in those day-to-day roles. So it really is quite diverse and quite dynamic in what it can offer, which I think is a real asset to the subject area that you'll be covering. And just to give you some examples of areas that our students have gone into, so going on to further study, we've got 2 students this year who are looking at completing a master's degree once they finish their degree at Barony. One is looking at nutrition, the other is looking at a behaviour and welfare master's. So completely diverse even in the directions they're going in afterwards. Looking at laboratory scientists, so vet lab opportunities, analytical scientists, looking at sample testing, all that sort of thing that sort of require that additional knowledge and those lab skills. Nutritionists, so that might be your kind of more traditional feed nutritionists for livestock, but also there is a massively growing field in terms of equine and canine nutrition as well, both from the performance side of things, but also just the companion side. A lot of the pet food industry now are employing nutritionists to improve and advise on what we're feeding our companion animals. And then working within sectors like the SSPCA, Scottish Government, field-based opportunities for things like ecologists. And I was actually chatting to somebody the other day about opportunities within beekeeping industries and understanding bee diseases. So it really does open up a wide variety of opportunities to you. The challenge is settling on one and deciding what you want to do. In terms of the resources and support we've got available, Barony is a beautiful campus. It's a relatively small campus, but it gives you the advantage that we've got smaller spaces, but still with the main facilities that are important for teaching. So our classrooms and laboratory facilities. And as I mentioned, we've got the advantage over other campuses that we have, the farms at Barony and Crichton, that we can utilise for teaching and for research. We've got the animal care unit, which houses a range of companion animal species. And then next door, we have the wildlife hospital, which is an independent wildlife hospital, but we can use it to understand how we're keeping wildlife and the very different approach to the kind of hands-off perspective compared to the hands-on care of the animal unit. We also have stables and just the general estate and campus for field-based studies and teaching. We have a whole range of teaching staff, but really supportive lecturers, and the smaller groups do mean that you get to know the teaching staff very well, and there is a little bit more one-to-one support there than you might find elsewhere. And then we have the advantage of being able to utilise a lot of our contacts in terms of consultants within SRUC and external contacts to be able to give you that up-to-date information as well. And as I mentioned, we do have relatively small class sizes, which means that you get more of a one-to-one feel, a one-to-one approach with things, face-to-face teaching on campus with some joint seminars with Edinburgh. And you'll be allocated a year tutor who generally will follow you through your degree. And then you've got that additional support there as well. We have very strong student support service facilities on campus. So if you need that little bit of extra support with your studies. And then we also have library facilities, career support, on top of that, and you have the advantage that you can use any of the facilities at any of the other SRUC campuses as well. So it really is a lovely teaching environment to be involved in. And the aim at the end of it all is to head for graduation, which is a fantastic day and opportunity to celebrate your achievement with all your family, friends and lecturers, and it really is wonderful to see that journey through over the course of the 2 years. So that gives you just a bit of a quick overview of what we offer at Barony and the opportunities there are within the animal science programme. But if you've got any questions, then I'm happy to answer those.
Thanks, Anne. Yes, a few questions. I have an HND in animal care. Is this enough to join the course?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously it is a top-up programme, so it is the 3rd and 4th year of the degree. So we will accept students who have an HND in animal care, biosciences, or any kind of biological based subject. If you're studying for an HND and you're not sure whether it's something that would be accepted, if you just get in touch and we can check on that one. If you've got a science pathway option within your animal care, that really does help and support you in that transition. But it doesn't matter if you haven't. We will still accept you on the course. It just takes a little bit more to get you up to speed and transition over, but we've had plenty of students who've managed that.
Great, thank you. Do we get to work with horses?
So at the moment we do have some sessions where we are carrying out practicals with the horses. It varies depending on the lecturer, the subject area and what we're looking at. We don't use the horses for things like ridden work, but for example, for our welfare assessment module, one of the lecturers was using the horses to look at gait analysis and comparing gait analysis with cattle and gait analysis with the horses. So it does depend a little bit what we're going to be looking at, but we cover a whole range of species on the course.
Fantastic. Are there field trips?
Yes, absolutely. So the course itself is predominantly theory based, and you will be learning that background within the classroom. But what we want to do is use both field trips and practical sessions to then complement that theory based teaching. So yeah, lots of opportunities for field trips, both on farm, said laboratory visits, so the vet labs in Dumfries and the post-mortem rooms. Again, varies depending on the modules and who's teaching those. But yes, field trips are a valuable opportunity, I think, to support your learning. And again, the advantage of not having huge class sizes is it means we can facilitate those field trips. When you have the bigger courses that maybe have 30, 40 students on them, it's actually quite difficult to manage field trips. So we have that advantage of being able to do those much more easily.
Brilliant. And what is the typical class size?
We're usually looking at probably about 10, 15 students is what we aim for. Obviously it varies year on year, but yeah, that's usually what we're looking for.
Brilliant. And yeah, that's all the questions.
Lovely, thank you very much.
So yeah, no more questions. So if you want to sign off, then I will get the recording over to everyone.
Thank you very much.